Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som kräver konsolbäppa konsolfelino. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you, as always, for tuning in to Wanna Bet. I'm Jason, that's Ben. These are lobsters. We bite them for good luck, and when things go exceptionally well around here, we juggle 3 lobsters after a 3 lobster night, and we put a bib on. And you know what? There have been a lot of bib Fridays around here because Thursday night football has been very good to us. Fully transparent, I've had some bad NFL Sundays. Last week was a good bounce back, but the Mondays and the Thursdays we've done quite well on. And we don't have that many Thursday nights left, Beltway Ben. So we got to smash them while we can. If you're new to the show, we give you our favorite plays every day, 7 days a week, as we are handicapping games and crunching numbers and analyzing markets pretty much from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. First, second, third down, 3 of our favorite plays to make right now. Fourth down, we go fourth and long-term bets, long shot bets. Also fourth and short, quick hitters to get you paid in the first period, first half, first quarter of games. Overtime, we've got parlays. Soccer and football parlays because 'tis the season. And we're also fully transparent. We show you what we did last night. We show you how we're doing since we launched this show on May 21st. College basketball, I had 2 losers last night in the CAA. UNC Wilmington stopped scoring and Towson started scoring, and we needed the opposite. Tyler Tejada of the Towson Tigers definitely looked like an NBA player last night. He dominated Cornell. Towson scored 90. That doesn't happen. Last time they played at home against Norfolk State, they scored 51. Everything they shot fell. Both teams shot over 50% from the field. Both teams drained threes, even tough threes. I was at the game. They weren't all open threes. Towson is usually an elite defensive team. They're like a Ken Palm top 30 defensive team and rebounding team. But second half got nuts last night. So we lost that. Nuggets covered easy. Chelsea shat the bed against Leeds and pretty much let Leeds dribble the ball into their net, like the third goal Chelsea conceded. Cole Palmer's got a chance on the left foot. If he's in form, I think he buries that. It's 2-2. We're probably good to go. But he misses the net, and then Chelsea gives up an absolute ridiculous, basically own goal. And that was that. Beltway Ben, your Wednesday night was kind of like mine.
Yeah, not very good. Cade Cunningham not scoring 20 points for like the second time of the year was brutal in a weird game where they lost to the Bucks without Giannis for the majority. We lost Georgetown minus 17.5. Live spread under 7 minutes was 20.5, and they went on such a bad run down the stretch with their starters in at that. Like, it wasn't even like Cooley pulled the starters. They still had the starters in, but UMBC battled back. That ends up being a 9-point game, and they were up 22 with like 6:50 left. Nick Claxton should have did PRAs. He had like 10 assists, shockingly. He's kind of running the point in a weird spot there because they don't have a true point, but he came up 2 points or rebounds short. And yeah, I mean, it was just the other play, the fourth and short. We had 3 guys. Cade got 5. Desmond Bain for 3 and Fox for 3. Fox and Cunningham did their job. I was playing basketball. I checked my phone and see Bain had 3 in the first. And I'm like, all right, good thing I took that. It was only 3. Come back to my phone to find out he has 0 points. So I'm not sure if there was a wrong, they gave it to the wrong guy, or it was one of those plays where they changed the call 5 minutes later. But unfortunate loss there again. We had a very bad night, but we got to bounce back here.
Yes, we do. And Thursday nights with the NFL on tap is the perfect time to do it. Now, look, I've got a lot of plays on this game already out there. You can go to yesterday's show, the day before that. I expected there to be a lot of action on this game. We're running out of Thursday night inventory. And so when that money starts coming in, the lines move, and they move pretty drastically. I will get to that game a little later. I do have a couple more plays that I like there, including some real long shots. But, hey, I've played them, and you never know. First down, though, we will go with my hoops plays of the day. We can start in college. Davidson laying 19.5 at minus 116 against the Citadel. The Citadel is just an awful basketball team. They're 0-6 against the spread. They're 3-10 against the spread non-conference since the start of last season. They're failing to cover games this season on average by 9 points per game. They're losing on average by 16 points a game. They are 8-21 are the Citadel as a dog against the spread since the start of last year. They can't shoot threes. They can't shoot twos. I don't really know what their carrying trait is other than they can't cover. Davidson isn't a run and gun team. Neither team's going to play this at a crazy pace. So that's what gives me a little bit of pause in laying this many points. But Davidson runs such a highly efficient offense that I don't think they need a crazy number of possessions to get home against the Citadel with this number. Davidson has covered 4 of their 6 games this season. Davidson's really good at home. And I just, the Citadel's in an auto fade situation for me right now, especially under 20 on the road. They're just not really competitive in any way, shape, or form. And then we're also going to the rebound market against the Washington Wizards because we like to do that around here. And we are going to take Neemias Queta. Did I say that right?
Keita.
It looks like it's
Keita.
Keita. It should be.
They pronounce it Keita.
Looks like it should be Keita to me. Yeah, he's Portuguese, right? It should be. Yeah, it looks like that should be Keita. Over 9.5 rebounds tonight, plus 104 against the Wizards. We've chronicled how bad the Wizards are rebounding the ball. They have the second worst rebounding percentage versus centers in the NBA. They're basically bottom 3 rebound percentage team, no matter how you slice it, including at home. They haven't faced that many 7-footers, but when they have, they feasted. We were on Gobert. We took that to an alt line. He cleared easy. Giannis, opening game of the season, first time he faced him, was in the mid-teens in rebounds. Now, I think he was hurt before that Wizards game or in that Wizards game the other night, Ben. He did nothing in that game, couldn't run, couldn't jump, and then leaves the next game with the calf, and that might be the last time he ever plays for them. So second time around wasn't good, but I mean, yeah. Vooch went over easy. He got over 12 against them. When they faced the Pistons, Doran, he got 14. Now it went overtime, but he was over 10 in regulation. So there's that. When Boston faced the Wizards earlier this season, Keita had 12 in 24 minutes. He had 12 in 29 minutes the other night against the Timberwolves. He had 17 in 13 minutes a couple games before that. He's pretty much good for 10 a game this season when he plays. There's some games where they're nursing him. He's only playing 6 minutes, only playing 10 minutes, but they do have regular rest here. The Wizards, physical guys tend to have their way with him. Sarr's back, superstar Sarr. But I don't think this is the kind of guy who he's going to fare really well against. This is kind of like a Drummond situation for me. So, and I also don't think, look, Washington's 2-4 at home, or 2-6 at home. They've only played 8 home games. They've had a tough schedule. I don't know if they're getting absolutely destroyed by the Celtics tonight. Like, if you look at Washington's net rating at home in the first half, like, it ain't great, but it's only minus 4.7. It's like 24th. Like, by their standards, it's not bad. So I guess what I'm getting at is I think that they can hang around, shoot some threes, keep this close enough that we get the minutes we need to get this over 9.5.
I'm going to play multiple things from that game as well. As Jason mentioned, we do like to attack that spot where we can. I'll start with Peyton Pritchard. We'll play him over 21.5 points at minus 130, and we're also going to play him over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists, which you can find at minus 113. Jaylen Brown is out, so that means all of the ball handling will be between Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, and then maybe a little bit of Simons, but we'll get to Simons in just a minute. Pritchard has been solid with Brown on the court. He hasn't cleared this a ton all season, but he has done it in a few spots, and now you're taking away a guy that's shooting 22 shots a game. That's going to be a lot of volume to fill. Now, Derek White, we talked about him earlier in the year. He was having massive struggles. He's averaging 22 points over his last 4, and he seems like he's starting to figure it out. But with that, he's still not an aggressive player. Like, he looks for a shot when it's open, but he is quick to swing one more, and he's an unselfish guy. I do think he's fine swinging one to an open Pritchard if Derek White's kind of covered, and Pritchard is such a good damn shooter. Now, I talked about Simons. I don't know that Missoula really trusts him. I know that was the big trade addition in the offseason, but like, he's still sitting down the stretch in some games. He can score it a ton some, and then there's also other places where we see him average like 8 and then just not really play down the stretch. I think Missoula trusts Pritchard more. We've seen that when the guys like Jaylen Brown are on the court. Even last year when Tatum was healthy, Pritchard was still playing a ton of minutes, and when he's on the court, they are comfortable with him handling the rock. So they're comfortable with him doing whatever he wants to do. And I do think in this matchup against the Wizards, he can beat up on them. Last time he faced them, 18-5-2, and he dealt with foul trouble in the first half. If he doesn't have, 1 minute played, and it was not even that, I think it was like 45 seconds before he picked up his first 2 fouls and they pulled him out the rest of the first quarter. If that doesn't happen, quite honestly, he could have cashed his number. And in basketball, you need a good start to find rhythm as the game goes on. Yeah. You sit for 12 minutes, then come in the second quarter. You really don't know what you're going to get. And even at that, he still had 25. We're going to need 9 more in a game where you don't have Jaylen Brown. I do feel good about that. And then lastly, a guy that we're going to go to is Josh Minott over 5.5 rebounds at plus 120. He's versatility, can stretch it out, does a lot of different things well. I think it's Minott. I think
Minott? That's Minott, actually that's pretty cool.
I think it's Minott, yeah. But no, he had 5 boards for the last time they matched up with the Wizards, and that was tied weird down the stretch. To me, he'll play 25 to 30 minutes tonight. We saw him play 27 in a tight matchup with the Knicks just the other night. Missoula's weird. Some games he loves guys, some games he doesn't. I just talked about it a little bit with Simons outside of his favorites and White, Pritchard, and those types of guys. But other ones, the reserves, they're all over the place. Tonight in this matchup against the Wizards, where for like Alex Sarr, he stretches guys out. You might want a little bit more of a versatile forward. Minott can definitely play those minutes. And 5.5 rebounds is a number he's cleared before. Lost on the hook the last time. Getting good value on this play. I'll take plus 120 on my not over 5.5 rebounds.
Why not? Why
not? Yes.
That's what I always say. That's for the last 30 seconds since I learned how to pronounce his name. We think, probably, maybe. All right, we've got some footy today. One Premiership game today. We said we weren't going to attack West Ham early in games anymore, and we're not in terms of fading them in the first half, which became an auto play for us and was great until it wasn't. You got to know when to say when. But there is still that trend of a lot of stuff happens in the first half hour of West Ham games. And same thing with Man U. So I guess we sort of are attacking West Ham here a little bit. But we went with West Ham, Man U to lead at 30 minutes at Old Trafford plus 130. We think there's going to be goals in this game. And when you look at when Man U scores, they've scored 6 times in the first 30 minutes of games this season. That is top 3 in the Premiership. And they come out with more of an attacking bent at home, as most teams do. The Hammers have allowed 6 goals in the first 30 minutes of matches this season. That is second most in the Premiership. I think it's a spot that Man U is going to want to flex their muscles early. And I've been saying that a lot lately. And it's happened, actually, in a lot of these matches. Now, when City did it, they ended up giving up 4, so we didn't get the -1, but we did get the early Holland goal. And by the way, Ben, I just want to let you know, BDN will be back on the show very soon. Your guy Voldemada, don't think we forgot about him. I placed a bet on him today. Not going to get to it on the show today, but I think tomorrow BDN will be back. But yeah, look, we're going to look for Man U to come out attacking here, trying to put on a little bit of a show. And West Ham have started games quite frequently, especially on the road, where they're willing to concede early. So West Ham to lead at 30 minutes. I did it again. Man U to lead at 30 minutes plus 130 for the Apple Bottoms, and the Spotifyers.
We're going to go to the NFL game, and we'll play 2 different props for the same guy. I do this with some receivers. Sometimes it hurts us, sometimes it helps us. But when I have a good feeling about some of these guys, I just kind of go all in with receptions and receiving yards. So we're going to play Jamison Williams over 80.5 receiving yards, and we're also going to play him 5.5 receptions, which you can find at plus money right now. I still have a lot of question marks with this Dallas secondary and their passing defense. I've talked about it this week. I talked about it last week. Their run defense seems to have fixed itself. With the additions that they made, they look a lot better. And for that,
Absolutely.
other teams are going to have to throw the football against them, and that's where other teams have had success. Mahomes, even though they lost that matchup with the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, still had success throwing the football. And a player that we attacked there was Rashee Rice, and he cashed basically in the first half. I think we could see that with Jamison Williams, who has a lot of home run plays. Now, with them buffing up against the run, I do think Campbell is going to not try to outsmart himself, just be simple and let Jared Goff beat teams quickly. And whether you want to do it quickly, Jamison Williams on a screen, or you want to let him try to take the shot over the top, there will be multiple chances they take to beat Dallas over the top. And we've seen teams be able to beat them in that area all season long. I mean, it started week 1 and then it's carried on. I mean, the Giants did it multiple times. So I do like Jamison Williams to have a long reception today. But just to be safe here, in these two plays, we might get to him in 4th and long. A little tease. But I do like Jamison Williamson to go over his receiving yards. I like him to go over his receptions. The target share is going up weekly. Since Dan Campbell has taken over as the play caller, he has been extremely featured, except for the 1 week where he didn't catch a pass, and that was a very odd week. But I do think that's an outlier. Amon-Ra St. Brown is out. Right now he's questionable, and they said he's going to do everything he can to give it a go, but even he doesn't feel like he'll be able to play. The last five top wide receivers the Cowboys have faced: Rashee Rice, 92 yards. Devontae Smith, 89 yards. A.J. Brown, 110. Marvin Harrison, 96. And Trey Tucker, 47. That's more of a tight end game for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Wide receivers are dominating this Cowboy secondary. And again, as I said yesterday, Ravel is back. Their secondary is getting a little bit more healthy. Even when they were at their best over the past few years, when Trayvon Diggs had all those interceptions, they were still losing over the top and still allowing tons of passing yards. Their pass rush is fine, but Jared Goff's also a smart quarterback and knows where to get the ball to. Jamison Williams is a guy that can do a lot after the run, after the catch. I do expect them to get him the football a lot tonight. I think they'll get it to him short, because even in the screen pass to Rashee Rice, we know his A-dot is smaller than all the top receivers around the NFL, but he still had a lot of success against the secondary because that's just where they are. So again, give me Jamison Williams over 5.5 receptions at plus 102, and we'll also take him over 80.5 receiving yards at minus 114.
Told my son Rocco to get Jamison Williams off the bench and make sure he's got him live for his fantasy football team tonight. So we're simpatico there. I think Jamison Williams does some damage tonight. I think a lot of people do damage in this game, by the way, Ben, and we're just going to go over the 54.5. You can still find this at minus 105 at DraftKings. Dallas is 8-4 to the over in their last for the season. Detroit is 7-5, so both skew over. 7 of Dallas's last 9 games have gone over, including 4 straight on the road. 6 of Dallas's last 9 games have produced 57 total points or more. Detroit's gone over in 4 of their last 5. 3 of their last 4 have topped 55 or more points. Dallas's defense has stabilized, but as Ben just laid out, there's still a lot of deficiencies there. Detroit's pass rush has evaporated. I don't think Hutchinson's right. They weren't a good secondary to begin with, and they're without their best cover guy. We've seen Branch kind of get in some bad form and get in his own head. It's going to be a great night to play pitch and catch because it always is in that dome. Yeah, it'll be loud, but Dallas has been scoring on the road. And I think Detroit's not going to be able to run the ball in Dallas the way they'd like, and I think that's going to force volume. I also think Detroit's probably going to be chasing this game, and that's going to mean Goff's going to have to chuck it around. And yeah, I love Williams because no Laporta and no Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I just think this game has the potential to get batty pretty early. We saw a Green Bay team come in there on short rest who hadn't been really lighting it up and pushing the ball downfield on anybody. And Jordan Love had his way with them. I think Dak Prescott can do the same. So we are on the over.
Could you read? I know sometimes you say you could read when I'm maybe reaching at something. Did you get a feel for that one?
I didn't. My peripheral vision was off.
Damn it.
I wish I would have. I would have certainly said so. I mean, I'd like to lie and said I did, but we're like the only gambling show in the world that doesn't lie.
True. Very true. Wow. According to some people, we hide stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's the go-to. No, but I'm on that as well. I am playing that with you. I do like the over tonight. I don't see either defense stopping each other, especially with if I'm playing all the props that I am. If we get an under game tonight, I'll be in a really bad spot. But I like 2 Jared Goff props, and one of them is me testing something new. We like to have fun here. I like to find things for you guys to enjoy and play with us. So we're gonna go Jared Goff over 18.5 quarterback fantasy points at -115.
Interesting.
You want to find this? Go to DraftKings and go to player specials. And if you scroll down to the bottom, they have wide receiver fantasy, tight end fantasy, and then quarterback fantasy. We're gonna go Jared Goff over 18.5 quarterback fantasy points at -115.
I got a lobster fantasy
Absolutely.
that these 3 bastards are going to be all over tomorrow's show.
I agree. We need a big scoring game. If we get that, I do think we could put the bibs on again for a primetime spot. But no, Jared Goff over 18.5 quarterback fantasy points at -115. It's a weird prop, as I said, but if he's throwing the football as much as I think, and if Dallas really puts the emphasis that I'm expecting on them to take away the running backs and Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, it will also play into the red zone, meaning Jared Goff's going to have to throw some touchdown passes. And we've seen him get to 4 multiple times this season. He is fine throwing the football, and Dan Campbell is comfortable with him doing it. Could we also get him to sneak one in maybe on a 3rd and 2 from inside the 5? Yeah, we possibly could. But quarterback fantasy is interesting because, of course, you lose points with interceptions, whereas yards, touchdowns, those things, you don't have that impact. I don't fully trust this Dallas secondary to force a lot of takeaways. Could they force a fumble here or there? Maybe. But I do expect them to see a lot of balls going over their heads. I think there will be a lot of volume for Jared Goff tonight in a game where he could throw 40-plus times. And if they are playing from behind, which Jason gave out multiple times on the show, and I quite honestly do lean Dallas as well, if they're playing behind like we expect, this could be a spot for Jared Goff to be throwing the football all across the field. And we've seen him do it before. Could he throw them back into a game? Quite honestly, he could. So I do like Jared Goff over 18.5 quarterback fantasy points at -115.
Nice. It's an interesting kind of a segue. And again, we don't plan this, but my 4th and longs, one of them's a little different. The Cowboys to have the longest field goal tonight, -110. Like, if you watch these 2 teams, Dallas loves kicking field goals from 65 yards or more. And Dan Campbell hates kicking field goals anywhere, anytime, any place. 4th and 5, let's go for it. It's not to say that the Lions kicker sucks, but he's not Aubrey. And on the road, I think Schottenheimer's especially going to be inclined to take the points when they're there and to use this guy as the weapon that he is. Who knows? He might set an NFL record tonight. I didn't look at all the specials. Maybe that special's out there. Aubrey, 70-yard plus kick tonight. It wouldn't shock me. He's as automatic as it comes, and that's another way to kind of shut the crowd up. And I think Dallas will lean into it. As much as I think they can score points, I don't think it's all touchdowns. So we like the Cowboys to make the longest field goal, -110. And then, look, we wanted to give this out now because the value is already depleting, and I didn't want to wait. And anytime touchdown markets, the sooner you play them, the better, especially with people who are very, sort of square like Adams has become. But we're going to play what we played last week. Now, we can't get it at the +225. But a Devontae Adams first half touchdown at +175, you can still get that at Bet 365. He's got 10 first half touchdowns in 12 games. He leads the NFL. Arizona has allowed 13 first half offensive touchdowns against, which is middle of the pack. It's not significant, really. It's like they're like 15th. However, last 4 games, they've allowed a passing first half touchdown in all those games, and some of the number 1 options have shown up. Smith and Jigba, McCaffrey. Look, this guy's got 9 passing touchdowns inside the 5-yard line. Like, they don't. Corum fumbles, and Kyron gets his, but not as much as last year. Like, this is just kind of what they do, and nobody's got an answer for it. The guy's going to have 20 receiving touchdowns this year, and I don't think you're going to be able to get this kind of number for much longer. So Adams to have another first half touchdown, +175.
We're going to play a 4th and short and a 4th and long. We'll start with the 4th and short, which find it. We're going with Jared Goff. And I just like the value here. It's only minus 105 for him to throw for 100 plus
That's
passing yards in each half. He's done this in at least 4 straight weeks. And last week he threw for 0 passing yards in the first quarter and was still able to get over this number in the second quarter. We've seen their passing attack really pick it up as the game goes on. And in this spot against Dallas, I do expect Dallas to make it a point of emphasis to take away Gibbs on the ground, and the same thing with Montgomery. And from that point on, Goff will understand what he has to do to win this game. I talked about it earlier with the way that they can beat you over the top, the way they can beat you underneath, and how smart of an offense they really are. I think it's just going to be Goff throwing it across the field. And as I said before, with both of us, could they be losing late? Yes. And if that's the case, Goff's going to be throwing the ball in the second half. At the very worst, I think it's a 1-2 score game, and we still see Detroit throwing the football as you would in the NFL. This isn't going to be a blowout by any means, I don't think. The NFL doesn't want that. It's a Thursday night game, and you have two teams who it's kind of crazy to say right now, but they're both in the push for the playoffs. Like, the last I looked, Detroit was plus money to get in. Like, that's kind of crazy. And then you have a Dallas team who all of a sudden is starting to pick it up. Philly is, I'm not really buying what they have right now. So there is a lot of life for Dallas, and Detroit has to figure it out. I think both these passing offenses really turn it on. So we'll go with Jared Goff, 100-plus passing yards in each half. Now, we will play a 4th and long. And I talked about the longest reception earlier, and I kind of hinted like it was going to be Jamison Williams, but it's actually going to be Jahmyr Gibbs over 13.5 receiving yards, minus 125. When you look at it, I talk about Jamison Williams. Can he beat them over the top? Absolutely. Has he done it a lot this year? Yes. But what does that mean? There's going to be a point of emphasis to not let somebody beat you way down the field. And they have a few other guys like that as well, including the new tight end who had a 24-yard catch the other day. There's a lot of areas of that. Now, do you want to take Jahmyr Gibbs away? Absolutely. But he has speed that we don't see much. And if they can confuse the defense just a little bit and get some open space in front of him, we've seen him just run past guys and even break some tackles and slip through places that not many running backs can. 14 yards for 1 reception is not much at all to ask for him. He's done this in more than half of his games this season. And if they're playing from behind, we always get that second quarter drive late in the second quarter where it's 2-minute offense. You're moving the ball quick. Dallas is doing everything they can to take away things downfield. And you can hit Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's not afraid to run. He will go to open space and make plays like he always does. I like his longest reception over 13.5 yards at minus 125.
Love it. All righty. It's time for overtime. We're going to get a little freaky deaky. First overtime is fairly standard fare. And again, I told you guys, anytime touchdowns, I jump on them pretty early in the week, by the middle of the week at the latest. That's late for me. And I wanted to give this out now because I don't think you'll be able to get it at this number for much longer. We're getting on the A-Chan train again. And Beltway Ben, if this one doesn't hit, if I mook this up again, please at least yellow card me on this dude moving forward. We were on the receptions and the touchdown last week. Got the touchdown out of the way right away. He gets one target the whole game, but he gets the 125 scrimmage that we were eyeing and going back and forth on. Here we're going to play 70 rushing yards in the anytime touchdown. When they faced the Jets earlier this season, he ran 20 times for 99 yards and a touchdown. He's got 100 yards rushing 3 straight games. He's got at least 20 rushes 3 straight games. The outside zone stuff is kicking in for the Dolphins, and I guess McDaniel wants to keep his job, and he's been leaning into the main thing, which is them getting volume and explosives and rushing touchdowns on the ground. The Jets have allowed 6 touchdowns to running backs over the last 4 games. A-Chan's 10 touchdowns, ranked 7th, tied for 7th in the NFL. Again, it's a team he's familiar with, the defense he's familiar with, that he had good success against last time out. And the Dolphins have been riding this script and maybe kind of saving their season, getting the ball in his gut 20-plus times. So he gets 20 rushes here. I feel pretty good about the 70. The touchdown thing, there's always variance there. But I think they're kind of riding the A-Chan train. Again, I don't these next 2 bets. I don't do this. I maybe do it 2 or 3 times a year. And I'm on the over. So you're going to say, if you're on the over, Jason, why would you put a half unit? Where's Choppy? GG. Needy. Do you have Choppy? Here we go. The late, great Copper, a.k.a. Chopper. Oh, I'm ripping his ear. He's stuck under the thing. Chopper locking for us. So we're going a half unit on Dallas to win 30-24 tonight. Then you might as well just put the other one up in. And another half unit on Dallas to win 31-24 tonight. Those both are paying 150 to 1. Yeah, I'm on the over, but I don't know, man. I just kept the numbers 30 and 24 kept coming to me as I did work on this game, and I started doing work on this game during Sunday Night Football. I think Dallas is good for 30. Maybe it's 33. Maybe it's 34. We're obviously throwing a dart here. But I kind of, that's just the cap I just kept coming back to. Like, I think Dallas is scoring at least 3 offensive touchdowns. I think Aubrey kicks a long field goal, maybe 2. I think the Lions are going to get some points, but I also could see Goff, who's not in good form, turning the ball over tonight. I just don't have a good feeling about the Lions, and I almost always have. So it's 2 shots in the dark. But look, I made these bets. And, like, I don't want to be the mook who, like, comes on and is like, hey, Ben, guess what I did? You know what I mean? And the people are like, well, a-hole, why didn't you give it out? And it's not like – I'm also not going to be the mook who gives these out every game and then when he's right once in 3 years throws himself a goddamn parade about it on Twitter. I'm neither guy. Again, we've done this show for 6 months. I don't believe we've had a correct score ever, have we? I don't think any of you.
Absolutely not.
No,
absolutely
except
not.
in soccer. I hit a 3-1 Mexico
Right.
in the Gold Cup. But in the whole Gold Cup, I think I might have given out 2. Maybe it was only that one. We make a lot of bets around here. But I know I don't do this very often. But I just had a feeling. So there you go. And then, look, I'm also on the Jags to win this weekend at plus 110. I wanted to give it out now because you're never going to get at the number I played it at 3 days ago. And you're not going to be able to get plus money on this very much longer. As more sharp money comes in, I think people see that the Colts are in trouble. And Jacksonville turns people over a lot, and Daniel Jones is a ticking time bomb turning it over. Jacksonville are going to sell out to take Jonathan Taylor, at least mitigate him. Jones is hurt. The Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Jacksonville's been covering a lot lately. I like Jacksonville in this spot. And plus 110, it's not going to be there tomorrow. So that's my overtimes.
All right, we have 2 NFL ones, and then we have an NBA play, as we sometimes do throughout here in overtime, just by itself, not a parlay. But we'll start here in the NFL. Let's scroll down. There we go. Both quarterbacks to throw for 200-plus passing yards, Jamison Williams, 60-plus receiving yards, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 3-plus receptions. To get us to plus 108, I talk about it all the time. I like doing something right around plus 100 for these standalone games, and we've had majority of success with it. I mean, past few weeks, it's been up and down a little bit, but for the most part, since the start of the NFL season, we've had success here. Now, both quarterbacks, 200-plus passing yards. Jason and I have documented it throughout the show, throughout yesterday's show, throughout the first show of the week. These passing defenses are not what the run defenses are, and both offensive play callers know that. It'll be a lot of passing tonight. We have a dome, which is always great for good passing offenses at that, especially when you have 2 struggling passing defenses. Jamison Williams, 60-plus. Talked about him since Dan Campbell started taking over as play caller. He's been heavily involved except for the 1 week where he didn't have a catch, but that was just a weird week to me, to be quite honest with you. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, 3-plus receptions, plus 108. Jahmyr Gibbs, you can take receptions every week and will never feel bad about it because they do whatever they can to throw him the ball and get him in space. And if this run defense really is what I think it is, it should be a good spot to throw Jahmyr Gibbs some passes and try to get some screens going with him and see if Dallas can take it away. They haven't been bad against running backs in the passing game, but Jahmyr Gibbs is different than any other running back in the NFL in the passing game. He's like what Alvin Kamara used to be, but even better, to be honest with you, because there's a little bit more speed and he understands what he's out there for. And Montgomery, as good as he's been, the play time is starting to go more and more down as the year's going on. So they're very comfortable with where Jahmyr Gibbs is. We'll take him for 3 receptions. The next parlay, the other NFL parlay we have, Jared Goff, 250-plus passing yards, Dak Prescott, 2-plus touchdown passes, and the other thing did not save in there, but it's also, let me see if it saves through. Probably because I didn't update it. There we go. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5-plus receptions. So again, for the listeners, Jared Goff, 250-plus passing yards, Dak Prescott, 2-plus touchdown passes, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 5-plus receptions at plus 268. When you look at this spot here for Jahmyr Gibbs, I already mentioned it. There's going to be a lot of passes his way. Dak Prescott, 2-plus touchdown passes Javonte Williams has been able to punch it in a lot this season. I get all of that. But tonight, I do think it's a heavy passing game. Could George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb beat the other team over the top? I do think that's very possible. They like to get the tight ends involved in the red zone, all of those good things. He could throw for 3+, but we brought him down to 2. And then Jared Goff for 250+. He's done this in 4 straight, like I said earlier, with the 100 passing yards each half. They could be playing from behind, which would be more passing opportunities for him and us for this prop. So again, 250+ for Jared Goff. Dak Prescott 2+ touchdown passes, and Jahmyr Gibbs over his regular line of 5, or to grab 5 catches, 4+, 268. Last play here. I know we gave out a lot today, but Draymond Green over 5.5 assists at -122.
I looked at this. That's funny.
Yeah,
I looked at this.
The Sixers defense is not there. It's just not. You still are without Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's questionable. I don't think he plays.
Right.
And if all of that
I
is
don't
the
think
case,
so either.
it's going to be Draymond throwing guys open and trying to show what he can do with the younger players and the inexperienced players, as he always does. He's under this in 2 straight, and I get that. He finished at 4 in both of those games. Last game, he dealt with foul trouble, and at one point, Kerr pulled him out because that second tech was coming, and he's going to get tossed. That always scares me taking Draymond props. That's why I lean towards some under sometimes, because he's always due to get tossed in some of these games. But tonight, I do expect him to throw a lot of guys open and have a bunch of assists.
I was thinking, and I might still do it, I was looking at rebounds plus assists, but I was waiting to see the Sixers injury report. Embiid looks cooked. If Drummond's not up also, you know what I mean? Then undersized Dre is going to really clean up.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if Kuminga's in the doghouse or not either.
It's
right
weird.
now. I know
it's really weird.
He's just back from injury.
Just, yeah.
I can't figure it out. But this is another night. I think he could clean up on the boards tonight if he gets a regular run. But it seems like it doesn't take much for him to get his ass put back on the bench.
100%. 100%.
So I'm laying off that one. But if it's interesting. I'm going to keep watching those markets and wait for that injury report. All right. Yes, we are excited about tonight's Thursday night football game, and we're excited about the Wizards game as well. We appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. If you have questions, thoughts, ideas, feedback, email us. wannabetwithus@gmail.com. And yeah, if you usually just watch on YouTube, we're also on Twitter. Spotify, sound quality with the new laptop, sound quality on Spotify and the Apple bottoms is great. So feel free to listen. Ryan Mills tells us if you listen with the sound off, somehow the computer knows that. So maybe
turn the volume up.
Turn it up. I mean, crank it, or if you got other stuff going on, turn it up. Maybe, I don't know, if you turn it up a couple notches, it's gotta count.
Yeah.
Right? It's gotta. Yeah. So yeah, that's the show. We will be back at noon tomorrow. Do you have any thoughts on Saturday? What is your Saturday like?
Early would be best.
It's great.
I think I have to go out for something, but early would probably be best. You're going to the soccer game, right?
That's at 1. Yeah.
So we can.
And then there's the Bubba thing at night.
I forgot about that.
I'm going to give out a lot of soccer tomorrow because some 9:30 starts, some 10 o'clock starts. I'm probably going to give a lot out tomorrow just in case we have, you know what I mean? Like, even if we're trying to go early and there's a problem or whatever, and because the markets day the game are not as good. But, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we'll figure out. Saturday be early. That's great. And then Sunday at 11. And, yeah, that's our show. Thank you for tuning in. We always want to bet with you. Thank you for betting with us. Bite the lobster!